I don't want to oversell it, but
I'm not sure if we're going in progress or if we're it looks like we are going in progress, but we are actually just catching the mulligan, so we're getting to see the whole series.
Oh, fantastic.
Shinigami with Death Rattle Demon Hunter, Miracle Rogue, N'Zoth Rush Warrior, and Spell Mage. Insane with the Miracle Rogue, an OTK Demon Hunter, a Rush Warrior, and a Control Priest. The Priest for Insane and the Rush Warrior for Shinigami have been banned out.
Interesting to see that inclusion of the Felsteel Executioner in Shinigami's list. Didn't opt to keep it. I'm sorry, in Insane's... I'm looking at the wrong decks. That's my fault.
Okay.
That's my fault. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing. Here we go. I'm back.
We're getting into this just as you are, so you'll have to give us a minute to find the deck lists and kind of transition over. So apologies for that, but we wanted to make sure to bring you this match in its entirety as much as we could. So you'll have to forgive your poor casters for having to catch up a little bit.
And I just want to double check. I thought I saw a Felsteel Executioner in the mulligan, so I remain confused. Is Shinigami on the demon?
That is
Shinigami is Shinigami on the demon hunter?
I think we might be swapped because Shinigami is the one with the Death Rattle Demon Hunter. Yeah, so we'll get that fixed. We'll get that fixed before the next game. So that is Shinigami, who's on the top of your screen and Insane on the bottom, and that is the Death Rattle Demon Hunter. So yes, Felsteel Executioner would be very weird in the OTK Demon Hunter, but is a common inclusion in the Death Rattle Demon Hunter. So and just because you want weapons to be able to use the Illidari Inquisitor on 8, and Felsteel Executioner is a 4/3 weapon once you corrupt it, which turns out is a lot of damage. So Felsteel is a very common inclusion there, and we're probably going to be seeing this Raging Fel Screamer come out on 4 to allow Shinigami to be able to play the Felsteel Executioner to set up for a 6-mana Illidari Inquisitor. Would be the curve that they would choose, assuming that that Shinigami doesn't have anything to say about it.
And speaking of curves, being able to have Kazakus ready to go. Kazakus is one of those interesting cards that's obviously in any list that doesn't have any 4-drops, and obviously an argument to perhaps not play any 4-drops in your deck. Coining it out on 3, though, is not usually the play, because oftentimes you want to just curve your Kazakus into a 5-mana Golem. And but that leaves us with kind of an awkward situation on this turn. I mean, honestly, I don't hate a coin double swindle here, just to go ahead and load up on resources going into a Kazakus and then a Golem.
It could also just be like an uncomboed Prize Plunder into Swindle.
True. It looks like it's neither of those.
Kazakus is fine. It's still giving you a 3-drop. You still get the 5-drop, and that was a very fast Golem, so I didn't get to see what the choices were.
I imagine you against a Death Rattle Demon Hunter, it can be kind of dicey to take any board buffing ones. The speed leads me to believe it might have been a doubler, or maybe a freezer. Freeze is particularly
maybe Poisonous Deal 3 or whatever. That might be valid too. I think that, I mean, even with this pressure, there is an argument for Fishy Flyer to corrupt the Felsteel, but then you're still not getting the Raging Fel Screamer down. And I mean, you still could trade off one of these 3-drops if you wanted to, if you're really feeling pressure. But I think you really want to get that curve that I was talking about last term, and that is going to be the plan, right? Just to get that Illidari Inquisitor online, because that's a lot for the Rogue to be able to deal with.
Oh yeah, being able to play a corrupted Felsteel Executioner going into a turn on turn 5, and then a turn 6 Illidari Inquisitor is just a ripping amount of damage. And Insane's gonna have to come up with something really compelling to stop Shinigami from doing exactly that. An uncomboed Vanessa Van Cleef in order to activate one of these swindles. I guess, hit a Shadow Step. So if Insane wants to, there's now a Shadow Step available for future turns. But with the pickup of the field contact, I imagine it's just going to be a full hold and pass. And I was just talking about Shinigami needs a reason not to Felsteel Executioner, and honestly, Wicked, I don't see one.
I'm not seeing one either. I mean, you can still throw down the Spectral Delinquent alongside it, so you have another 3 attack to be able to get through. Like if they happen to pick like Taunt, summon a copy off of the Kazakus. Oh no, okay.
Oh.
I guess, well, we can still play the Husk Piercer, right? So like,
true.
This still keeps us on the plan. It's just going to be less damage when we do it, right? But this is more. But the trade-off is we're getting more on board, and this is I mean, this at least lets you clear. As Insane, you get to use both these prize plunderers to clear these off. You get to draw 2 cards. You can even use the Guardian Og Merchant if you wanted to preserve the other prize plunderer for bigger minions that are probably coming. Even Shadow Step it and give the 3/2 Divine Shield if you really want to maximize the card draw, though that seems like it might be a little bit much of an investment.
Actually going to Shadow Step actually going to Shadow Step the Field Contact so that for next turn, an extremely cheap Field Contact and with a Swindle in hand, that other prize plunderer you were just talking about, like there's going to be Insane's going to move through that deck in no time. But Shinigami is here and ready to Illidari Inquisitor on 6. It has Rush, so you get to clear a minion. And then you were pointing out the Tusk Piercer. Just going to go ahead and also send 8 to the face. And that's big.
And that's a lot. That's a lot of health to chew through too. And I mean, you can get there as Insane. And I think I kind of like this. I like this setup here, right? Because you do get the opportunity to get this prize plunderer pretty juiced up by Shadow Stepping it. And by Shadow Stepping the Field Contact just gives you a lot of gas.
Yeah.
These are interesting choices. Mask of Cthulhu just going to be some more damage. There is an argument for Oasis Ally, but that just might be too slow, and Shinigami just may not be interested in trading the rest of the game the way that things have kind of settled out.
Kind of stalled out. I mean, we want to get this prize plunderer up to 6 damage. So it's actually going to be a Shadow Step on the Guardian Og Merchant to go ahead and play 2 more cards and get there.
I think the concern was just like if you Shadow Step the Wand Thief twice and you have too much stuff in your hand, maybe.
Right. Right.
And ultimately, like, you do want to protect that Field Contact because that is kind of your win condition right now, and Shinigami is going to be required on the back of this swing turn to clear it.
Snap, freeze, flame strike
all day. Yeah. And we are still going to burn a card, but I mean, we've drawn almost the only thing that's really at risk here is maybe the Tenwu. That would be a bad burn from Insane, but I don't know that you're even necessarily considering that you're going to need the Alex Tenwu combo at this point. I think that with the Alex and the Wicked Stab in hand, that might just be enough to get you there. Because like this is also kind of a hard board for Shinigami to clear.
Oh yeah, there's not a lot of.
They're looking for a Fel Rattler, I think, is what they want. Because that would do a lot of work on this board. You'd be able to run it into the Divine Shield of the Field Contact, and then at least you clear off like a lot of this. But without that, and without that in hand, this is kind of scary.
And there's just not a lot of sources. You know, we've seen OTK Demon Hunter have access to things like Fell Scream, Blast, Immolation, Aura. Shinigami playing the Death Rattle Demon Hunter isn't supposed to fall this far behind on board.
No, never.
And especially now with a turn 6 Illidari Inquisitor. So going to go ahead and rip the skull. Finds the Renowned Performer, which is going to be able to get some work done.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's not with the hero power though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to clear the Field Contact, which is really the concern right now. I mean, you do get some of this damage off the board. Mankrik is not a bad burn. You do get a couple of 1/1 taunts in the way, but that Field Contact is spooky. I don't even hate Ripper in the Mask right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of damage.
And the Field Contact still has its Divine Shield going in. And I feel like if you're Insane, you can say with certainty that there's no Fel Rattler in hand. Like, that's
yeah. And
it didn't come off the skull either. So the Divine Shield is probably good enough. Down ever lower, going to end up down at 7. I'm sorry, going to end up down at 3.
3.
The Field Contact also gets to attack. That's totally unfair.
And there's not really healing in the Death Rattle Demon Hunter. Just this Wicked Stab that we can see in Insane's hand is enough. And I mean, Shinigami's not going to necessarily know that's there, but they're going to feel it. Yeah. And I mean, that's certainly something you're going to have to play around, but there's no way to play around it, right? Like, all you can do is worry about the damage on board. The Talon blocks some of this, but not all of it. And I guess you could use the Spectral Flyer to clear some of this off, or the other Fishy Flyer. Either way, choose your fish. But yeah, they know the writing's on the wall.
Just one turn away. I mean, with a Wicked Stab, is just going to go ahead and get there over the top. No amount of taunts. Didn't even need to get to turn 9 to drop that Alex Straza. Just able to get there with Wicked Stabs. And there's even, now that I'm looking, there's like a Secret Passage in hand.
Oh yeah,
so
there's
so
damage
many
for days.
Non-stop damage all day, every day. And Rogue those are the kind of draws. That's like the opposite of what I was lamenting at the end of the last series. If you find your field contact and you find some swindles and stuff, Rogue never runs out of anything. They have a wide board of little guys, but a wide board, and damage over the top, and ways to generate resources, remove your board, get a little board of their own. That can make it look like an unbeatable deck. So,
and that damage adds up, right? Like those like two damage here, 3 damage there, like it does add up to a lot. And then you don't need Alex Tenwu to get you over the top. You just need like a little bit of burst, and that's all that Insane needed. So we are going to. This looks like it looks like we're flipped again. I'm not sure because it looks like the death rattle. Oh no, sorry. The bottom mulligan's always on the top, and you would think I would have learned that by now. So. So I apologize for confusing everyone, but yeah, so we are going to go back to that Death Rattle Demon Hunter for Shinigami against the OTK Demon Hunter from Insane, and this is a little bit better of a matchup for the Death Rattle Demon Hunter. It's very hard for the OTK Demon Hunter to ever get a board cleared against this deck. Like there's just like all the minions replace themselves. The Throwglaive that we can see coming into hand will help a little bit, but it's just the damage comes in chunks, and it's really hard to just kind of keep this board clear and not take damage turn after turn and be able to just have the clarity to be able to draw.
And that's what you want to spend your mana on doing as the OTK Demon Hunter is drawing. Whereas if you're Shinigami, you're going to be cheating out mana. Like your 2 mana thing will play 3 mana for free, will play 4 mana for free, as long as there's any amount of additional draw to help them along and keep. It's really just a hand resource problem, right? You have to keep drawing death rattles, but not a problem, it looks like, at least for the next couple of turns. Yeah,
I think we got that under control. I'm not super worried about that.
And that's value.
I mean, we can do that right now. We can play the Razor, the Razor Boar, and then just Hero Power Face if we want to, and that'll bring out the 3 drop if we want to make sure that, which will also bring out the Renowned Performer if we want to make sure that we're playing around the removal as much as possible. That'll be a 3 minion chain. We could just coin out the Renowned Performer if we want to get this Felsteel Executioner corrupted, but that seems like less of a priority right now.
Yeah, and it's so tough to argue with coin Illidari Inquisitor at some point in the future. It may be too far in the future, but while the dream still persists, maybe, and it's possible that Shinigami is not going to have to pay the 7 mana for the Razorfen Beastmaster and Renowned Performer, like you're saying. It just keeps coming out, and so Insane keeps spending mana to develop board resources for Shinigami. Can be and like you were saying, the damage coming in chunk, like this is 6 damage. It's not nothing though. 6 damage kills you in 5 turns, so you have to do something.
And there's more behind it, right? So like this is not going to be the only board that Shinigami has. But what are you going to do here? Are you going to throw Glaive and then see what comes out, and then I-beam it and then see what comes out, or are you going to Immolation Order to clear both of these, and then I-beam the next thing, and then hope that it doesn't draw something else? Like, it's. And any of these, I'm not saying that these are necessarily bad plays. They're not, but it's like everything feels bad, right? Because like there's always going to be. I mean, I guess you could Foul Nose throw Glaive again if you wanted to.
Gosh, I mean, so it looks like it's just going to be, and then of course the Sneaky Delinquent replaces itself with a card back in hand for Shinigami. So the next Death Rattle pull a thing from your hand, definitely like.
Well, no, that doesn't. Have
that's right.
Rattle,
it has to have Death Rattle.
Yeah.
That's right. That one doesn't have Death
Rattle. But we can
Rattle.
see the Renowned Performer in hand, and he's going to use this other part of the Throwglaive and the Hero Power to clear this off, take 3 face damage, and then bring out another 3/3.
And it can attack.
It has charge effectively. Yeah.
Yeah, basically it has charge, and you didn't have to pay any mana for it. I mean, that's a deal. So.
Yeah.
Now we're in a weird
situation. We keep talking about extreme couponing. This is like the buy one get one free, right?
Yeah, it's so much extra damage. They took 3 damage, you get to deal an additional 3 damage, and it generates 1/1s when it finally dies. I mean, that's 5/5 for 0 over turns.
I buy that for $1.
Yeah. What about for $0?
Oh, even better.
Yeah. And so here's one of the situations that can happen with these Felsteel Executioners is they just come down as 4/3s, which is not a disaster. It's just not really necessarily what you're hoping for. I assume the hold on Illidari Studies, hoping to Illidari Studies into a skull on turn 5.
Yeah, I mean, it does mess up your N'Zoth a little bit because Alar is also an elemental, and so is the non-weapon form of the Felsteel.
Mm-hmm.
So it does mess up your N'Zoth a little bit, but I don't think you're worried about getting N'Zoth in this game. It's not you. This is not the matchup that N'Zoth is there for.
Right. And so it's just going to be, and there's an I-Beam, finally going to be an I-Beam that just removes something and doesn't immediately get replaced. And Mutanus the draw, Il'gynoth in hand.
This could be disaster for Insane, depending on when on how aggressively Insane plays out some of these minions and when Shinigami decides to time it.
And it's a skull. On
sure,
5.
Let's do that. That seems that. I mean, you want to coin Illidari Inquisitor, but if you can coin Skull, you coin Skull.
Oh, certainly. And going to be able to develop, it looks like the Archdruid Gnarlex, as well as a Tusk Piercer. Oh, and that's a super discounted Death Speaker Blackthorn coming into hand.
Super is.
This is going to be waves.
I mean, we've seen OTK Demon Hunters do miracles today, right? Like, I'm not saying that this is the end of the road. Like, we know better than that. And Illidari Studies into Skull can cure a lot of ills.
Yep. And that's a real discounted Moarg. If that gets duplicated with Philosophy, the discount gets duplicated as well. That
is true. And we can even heal 4 with like Eldrachi Warblade's Chaos Strike here. We get to draw again, and we get to either trade off this 3/3 or just go face to heal. Yeah, it looks like it is. Oh, actually going to hold the Chaos Strike for the time being. I guess also just thinking about upper limits of damage. With a free Chaos Strike that represents 4 damage as long as there's no taunts in the way. Yeah, especially with Il'gynoth in hand, like that would be 4 more lifesteal damage as well. Yeah. Even if it has to go into a minion. And so, I mean, if this isn't the fastest Blackthorn that we've ever seen, obviously think about everything. It doesn't have to be the fastest play, but this Death Speaker Blackthorn is looking mighty good. You'd have to have a really good reason to not play it, and I'm not. Other than I disconnected, I'm not sure what that reason would be. There was a lightning storm and my power went out. That's about it. That's it. Yes. And no taunts available to come off of that. Doing a quick look down. Yeah, there's like Talon's already in hand. Didn't get the Alar, so just a bunch, but so much board pressure available. 2 Nightmares in hand as well. Is this enough? Wait, is this enough? This might be enough. Oh, this might be 24. You know what? I'm just gonna hang on and see how it goes. 3. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's 18. That'll do it. Wow. Okay. OTK Demon Hunter for Insane just getting there. Insane just got there, and I mean, we were saying even a turn like I just need to stop saying OTK Demon Hunter's dead in the water because it never is. They never are. Yeah. And it's not like OTK Demon Hunter got a Illidari Studies skull, but I mean it did. But Shinigami did as well. Like that was a 4 mana Death Speaker Blackthorn into a 6 mana win the game. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what can happen, right? And that was just like enough there. And in a deck that doesn't heal, you can do that, right? Like you just need to get some chip damage, and it was actually really heads up of like we were looking at that Chaos Strike, like just throw down that Chaos Strike, draw some more, heal some more, and say that hold on, that's my win condition, right? And and recognizing that represented an extra, not just an extra, it's an extra 4 damage total. And being able to get them over the line. So, that was really heads up. Again, this is why I don't play OTK Demon Hunter on ladder. Because it's or anywhere ever. Because I miss those things and I just, and I'm not necessarily, planning ahead for those things. But that's like the caliber of player who's willing to bring OTK Demon Hunter to a tournament has a million reps on that deck. And they can spot those types of things. Oh yeah, not a coincidence they're here in the semifinals. If you are, I just want to, because we're actually heading into Warrior versus Rogue now, so it's going to be the Rush Warrior featuring N'Zoth at the top end up against the Miracle Rogue. While they're getting started, if you are jamming a bunch of ladder, and if you're a streamer, music is one of the things that can really just help you grind out 1,000 games of OTK Demon Hunter. And if you're going to do that, might I recommend Monster Cat. If you haven't tried it yet, it's a great service for only $5 a month where you can download and stream thousands of Monster Cat songs from top electronic artists. You can use the music in your live streams, make YouTube videos, do tutorials on how to play OTK Demon Hunter with no fear of DMCA strikes or claims. Learn more at monstercat.com. If you can show me a streamer who's not worried about DMCA strikes, I will show you someone who doesn't actually stream. That's for sure. and you know, getting a fairly good start. No buffs here, but for insane. But this is a little bit awkward with a fairly stacked hand for Shinigami that you really don't want to trigger this Octobot. But I don't know that you really have a choice. I'm trying to think of what like you could get off of Athletic Studies that would be effectively a 3 mana minion that would let you trade this off cleanly.
It would. Oh, that's right. It has to be natively 3. I was going to say Fishy Flyer, but that's 4 discounted to 3, which is not good enough. So yeah, that would be. Let's see, Stonemaul, Anchorman, Bloodboil, Brute, and Rokara. None of those are going to do it. Rokara does cost 3, but just doesn't have the attack necessary. Gosh, every time an Octobot comes down, I feel like the choice is pretty much made for you in almost every instance, where it's like bite the bullet, set it off before they draw another card. But if they're willing to just play an Octobot, chances are they have some stuff they'd like to discount. And look at this hand. You were talking about an embarrassment of riches on this discount.
Yeah, and there aren't any minions that you could have gotten off of Athletic Studies that would clear that. So, yeah. But this is a field contact. I don't know if it's this turn because this is not a ton of mana. Or are we thinking about shadow stepping the Octobot? I actually like that a lot.
Oh gosh, shadow stepping the Octobot, being able to get additional. Okay, it looks like it's going to be a field contact with the shadow step. Probably a field contact, single wand thief, and then shadow step the field contact.
Yeah, that's probably more responsible. You can even throw a brain freeze in if you want to, because the brain freeze is free.
Yeah, be able to brain freeze back one of these bumper cars. Be able to just take the attacks off the board. It looks like. Because I see there's a discount on Jandis, so I'm thinking about, turn 4 coin. Jandis is looking pretty enticing as well. Like Shinigami, I'm not saying his hand plays itself, but got some power turns coming into the next turns.
Yeah, and Insane, I mean, if Insane can find a buff, right? Like, this hand is gas, if they can find a buff. Like, you have a bunch of riders, you've got a Samuro, you can try to find something with this Stonemaul Anchorman. But without a buff, this is scary. I mean, you can at least deal with the field contacts. That's something.
Oh, actually held the shadow step and decided to leave the field contact just hanging out there. So that will be cleaned up by that Stonemaul Anchorman. Still not able to find that buff, though, like you're saying. I mean, still one more draw for it, because we'd like to play conditioning rank 2, but...
Yeah. But why would you shadow step the field contact when you can shadow step the Jandis? Right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. It's just if you think you're okay. Well, now everything I was going to say you can ignore completely, because if you're going to get a Jandis like this, then by all means,
I've got a good feeling.
Yeah, I love the optimistic ogre's outlook on everything. Yeah, 50% chance to attack the correct minion.
We could all learn something from optimistic ogre,
Yeah. Is going to put the ghost debuff on Runthak to just get a single +1/+1 on the hand, but because this optimistic ogre is going to sponge a lot of potential damage.
Yeah.
Still no conditioning either. You were talking about the buffs, and turn 5 is when you want them to be able to play that rank 2 conditioning, but it's still missing in action.
Yeah, because this Samuro is just like waiting for a buff to hit it. Well, okay, that's a buff.
Okay. So
it may not be the buff we want, but it's the buff we deserve at this point. So, but second Jandis probably coming down again. Yep. And that's an Earth Elemental.
Gosh, this Jandis has no chill. This Jandis has no chill at all. A 6/7 and a 7/8.
Jandis is pissed about that OTK Demon Hunter loss. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Oh, and even a Divine Shield on the Ogre to take out that big minion, but conditioning finally picked up, and Samuro can clear off most of this board. It's still gonna leave the Earth Elemental on the board. Actually, this is not great.
No, it does successfully, like you said, and it gets behind the taunt to be able to clear out a lot of the really, we can't Shadow Step Jandis again, for example, no Tenwu on the Jandis, but this is a big problem, this Elemental, and the Ogre is not nothing.
This is 15 damage. I mean, that Ogre may not go the right place, but, I mean, you have ways of removing the other minions so that Ogre doesn't, we can make Ogre's optimism pay off, is what I'm trying to say. Right? Like, we don't need to be optimistic if we just have only one place to go, and that's face.
Yeah, that's right. Even Ogre can't miss when there's only one destination, and down to 13 on turn 7 is insane. Shinigami with all kinds of possibilities. We see 2 wicked stabs in hand already, plus the possibility of that secret passage. So Insane needs a big turn this turn.
Okay,
Run
so we're
back
good.
buffs.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're the 4 damage is for sure going face, the ogre damage might not. So I don't hate this. Or I guess you can still trade off the ogre with the 4/4. Doesn't really matter. The extra buff doesn't matter, but these cards are not. I mean, the Crush could potentially get there, but you know, we're not too far away from just having lethal as Shinigami, and there isn't outside the Crush. There's no real armor game for the warrior.
Right, and it is going to be an early secret passage, going to hold on to all the burn as well as the arcane intellect in the main hand. Just going to see if there's maybe a Shadow Step Tenwu or something just waiting in the wings. And it is going to be some wand thieves. So depending on what these discovers are, we've already seen how much burn can come off of wand thieves, Masks of Cthulhu, fireballs, Apexis blasts, etc. And then of course, even things like Oasis Ally can be pretty good because they have to sort of fight your board honestly. Apexis blast off the wand thief
face.
Yeah.
I laugh at your run thack. Like, forget it. Let's go.
Oh my gosh! And with the 2 wicked stabs, I mean, this is so that's 8 damage, even an armor up. Is there any way to activate the Lord of Turtles?
Nope, there is not that I can see. You probably need to drop it and just hope that they don't have the burn. But that play says to me that you have lethal in hand. Yeah. Right. Like if they don't have a way to kill you next turn, that damage is it just cleanly cleans off this run thack.
Right.
So, I mean, but what do? Right? You don't have any way to deal with it, so you just hope they don't have it.
Yep.
That's all you could do.
It's time for they probably did that because they have an Alexstrasza in hand. So I have 2 turns to armor out of it. We can say, oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
sure.
just spreading that caster curse joy is what you're doing there, Bills.
Well, Warrior is not going to make it out of that one alive. And with that, we have a series on our hand. This Rush Warrior showing a little bit. I don't even want to say that Rush Warrior necessarily lost that game. Miracle Rogue just went nuts that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right from the Octobot that couldn't be answered, right? Like, that was just it. Like, that the Rogue was just off to the races at that point. And there's not really much that you can do as the Warrior, but gonna be back to that Warrior is insane. We're gonna try to get this Death Rattle Demon Hunter over the line for Shinigami. And the Death Rattle Demon Hunter can go a little bit faster than the Warrior. From my testing with it seemed like it could not. Maybe this isn't the draw for it necessarily, but and Insane's going to rip this athletic studies and try to find some early answers to some of these minions. I'd be surprised if this isn't the Red-Gill Razor Jaw. Although I guess the broomstick would let you play the parade leader and then have both of those rushing.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, obviously this is impossible, but an animated broomstick would have been pretty handy in that last game.
It sure would have.
Activated the turtle and get that armor real quick. To the point where do you ever pocket a broomstick? Like, I almost wonder... okay, no, it is going to be the Imprisoned Vile Fiend. But
that was not what I would have thought.
Yeah.
The Imprisoned Vile Fiend is kind of slow, right? I mean, it does have a big butt, so it can trade off a bunch of stuff, but that's not what I would have thought would have come off that athletic studies.
And a pretty good draw off the top there in the form of that Ringmaster Watley, as long as Insane isn't getting pressured to death by turn 5. Because if you can rip Watley, especially going into a conditioning turn, that's when you can start turning the corner. But like you were saying, this is a draw from the Death Rattle Demon Hunter that has some late stuff, more late stuff than early stuff, but not a zero amount of early stuff.
Yeah, and this Tent Trasher is kind of slow, all things considered. Like, this is going to be a pretty slow hand from Insane. I wonder if we're just going to go face, because this trade is probably... I guess you're worried about something like a Fell Rattler, right, coming out and then trading off this Parade Leader, and then all of a sudden you're just behind. So I guess you have to make this trade, but it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situation.
Yeah, I mean, based on the mulligan, Insane did see several cards get thrown back, so probably hoping... Like you're saying, you're hoping for nothing to come out of the Fellbore. Maybe it was a bad mulligan, but not going to be the case for Insane. And both of these dormant minions just going to tick over. There's actually no, I mean, this is an uncorrupted stage dive. I didn't know it could be played uncorrupted.
It can. You kind of wince, and then you have to take you a second to recover from the nausea.
Right. Just I'm dizzy.
Yeah, and things are just going bad to worse now for Insane. Just like more pressure. These minions are likely going to replace themselves. You can't deal with the stealth. You've got one tent trasher. I mean, I guess you can use the Samuro. Will clear maybe the Samuro plus the 3/5 and the weapon will at least help you get board back. But there's going to be more pressure where this is coming from. I'm going to use the weapon, which is a little bit risky now because you don't have a ton of armor gain outside of Crush, and you're really relying on them not having the Inquisitor on curve. But this will clear with the Samuro.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to be a full clear with the Samuro coming down and some reload available. Now that there's demons on board, the tent trashers at least are discounted by 1. I think both Vile Fiend and Gnarg are demons, so only the 1 discount. But still, that's it's a 20% discount, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, Shinigami, I'm looking at the left side of Shinigami's hand and it's all gas.
Yeah, we're like 1 turn away from Bomb City. And just going to kind of set up for that. These spectral delinquents just can't be interacted with by Insane. So this is damage that they'll be able to push through, either to trade off if they need to, or to just push through more face damage. And
I mean, I guess
you just slam Watley, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. There's no. I mean, I guess you can play Watley and the Gnarg just to go ahead and get your next weapon charging up. But yeah, since like you're saying, you can't interact with these stealths, so might as well draw. The tent trashers are obviously bigger and more threatening, but there's nothing to rush into.
They let you hero power. That's the one benefit of the tent trasher, right?
True.
Is that
and they are large.
Hero power in.
They will definitely help bust through what we know is going to be. I mean, if this isn't coin Death Speaker Blackthorn, I will fall out of my chair. Oh no, it's a skull. Ah, geez, this is actually tricky. I'm going to stay in my chair.
Yeah, it is a tough call, but I mean, when you can coin a Blackthorn and answer this big board, as opposed to a skull that you don't know what you're going to get, Fell Rattler, these all have rush.
Yeah, who's the rush warrior now? The warrior is. This is a demon hunter, but still,
these trades are just going to happen really cleanly. Maybe we leave a Samuro if we don't want to trade it off. I imagine we probably don't want to. And we can still push this 6 damage face if we so choose, or we can leave these stealth too, which is a valid choice.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, it's basically banked 6 damage that can go anywhere it might be needed. We haven't seen any of the Sword Eaters, for example. We haven't seen any of the defensive options just yet. Troublemaker off the top, but that still costs 8.
That's not a draw you want right now. Like this is lethal on board. I mean, you can trade off the 3/1, but that still leaves 2 1/1s behind. So that's still lethal damage with the hero power.
So I guess it's going to be Trasher, hero power. So that is 6 damage coming in. Oof. Yikes. And
you have to make this play, but it feels terrible.
And I'm interested to see if Shinigami is going to be able to outcast this skull this turn. Actually, with the draw of the boar, not going to be able to. So could just lob this Mutanus out there. But then again, could do some other stuff. Yeah.
I mean, anything that's in here is going to... Oh, no. Like the one bad hit in the hand, because like everything else in this hand was a brutal eat. I guess is that the term? I don't know. We haven't learned the terms for Mutanus yet, and I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but
it's just a brutal mutinying.
Yeah, we're gonna try to clear off some of this. We take off half the Mutanus with one of the 3/3s.
The other skull.
Oh man,
I was about to go on a whole tangent about how unlocking the potential of the inner hand skull.
Yeah, no, we'll just make more bills. It's fine.
Let's draw the other one.
I think you have to, because like you don't have lethal in hand right now, right? Like if you could get like a Fellsteel Executioner, play the Razor Boar, and then just that's lethal,
right?
I'm trying to see what other outs there might be.
And I mean, if you hit an Illidari Inquisitor, it only costs 5. So.
Yeah, you're not. That'll be next turn. You really want to end the game this turn, right? Because you know that they can, if they have Alex in hand, which is a card you'll probably be worried about, then then they can just heal up. But yeah, if they just find a Felsteel Executioner is really the out, doesn't find it.
Oh yeah, misses. Can set up the okay, so we can't win this turn. So moving into the future turns, I would assume it's going to be Gnarlex to try to find a Nightmare.
Yeah.
And then Illidari Studies to try to find. There's some stuff that you can outcast. That we saw the weapon. Actually, just go ahead and grab a Crimson Sigil Runner and go ahead and draw again. Oh, okay.
Oh no, like the next draw.
Man. Easily corruptible though with the other skull as well as Alar, Fishy Flyer, all available to corrupt that.
Or just N'Zoth if you really want to style,
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm all about some swag. Drop an old god to corrupt your. I'm into it.
So you probably run the 3/3 into the 1/1. You run the Troublemaker into the 6/3, and then what? And then you just Alex your face and hope that the rest of the Troublemaker 3/3 is clear.
I mean, I think that's the only way I see to survive at the moment. It's one of those plays that.
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
yeah. Actually, I guess
that's better. Yeah.
This saves a little bit of extra health on the Troublemaker, but yeah, if we don't Alex ourselves, I mean, 12. This is one of those things that I feel like can happen to lists where it's like we're surviving, but are we living?
Yeah, I mean that, but we still haven't found an Illidari Inquisitor somehow on Shinigami side, and that's been like the only saving grace right now, because now we're a little bit. That's why we wanted to find the lethal last turn, because that's a likely card to have been sitting in the hand for a while. For Insane, and you've got 7 with the Felsteel Executioner and the 3/2 going face, but that 7 is less than 12. I did run the numbers.
Carry the 4. That checks out. So it is going to be the stylish N'Zoth to go ahead and grab back the Blackthorn and then the Fell Rattlers and the Fishy Flyer, which will be enough to at least clear Alexstrasza.
Because if we're not getting lethal, we need to clear this board, right? Like, this is a lot of damage coming back the other way, and we can't ignore this.
And with a clear, gosh, I just don't see a way to clear both Alexstrasza and the Troublemaker. I mean, I guess maybe the Troublemaker. Okay, actually, just going to go ahead and clear the Troublemaker, deciding that that's more threatening. Which it is just recursive damage every turn. So just going to go ahead and start swinging face. But to your point, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 damage showing. But then again, Insane at 5 life. So
this ETC Playmaker could get there.
Wait
with
a
the
minute.
bumper car? I think this is enough.
The bumper car, double bumper car is going to generate a bunch of.
I was about to say, I don't know how I feel about leaving both those 3/3s up, and I think that makes the difference here.
That's gonna do it. Actually, did Insane Way have it? Because it was gonna be four. It was gonna be 4 riders, 4 Dark Moon riders coming off the bumper cars in conjunction with ETC. It was you called it out when it happened on turn 7. Mutanus had one job. Do not hit imprisoned Gnarg.
It's so hard to find good fish these days, Bills. It really is.
And that was it. I mean, that's the difference between this going to a 5-game series and Insane making it to the grand finals to battle against Easy Bake. And I mean, like you said, 25% chance.
And credit to Insane, because I mean, that was like they were playing behind that whole game, right? Like they had a terrible opening draw and never was able to get that Watley down to get refill because they just were under pressure the whole time, and just managed to find a window. Right, I mean that was a fortunate top deck to be sure, but managed to keep themselves alive long enough to find that window and then be able to turn that around. And I mean it looked like it was completely out of reach most of that game. I mean this is how that whole series has gone for Insane, really, because I mean the OTK Demon Hunter was the same thing. It was really just the Miracle Rogue that was kind of more of a decisive win, but the other two were just like clutching victory from the jaws of defeat. And I'm really excited to see this final. I super am, because this is really going to be like irresistible force versus a movable object with Easy Bake and Insane, and I really cannot wait. This is going to be a heck of a grand final we're about to see.
Absolutely. Condolences to both Super Chicken and Shinigami. They put it in, made it all the way to the top 4. Not going to be able to make it to the grand finals, but a big thanks to both of them for playing on stream as well. And not going home empty-handed. Did make it into that 3rd, 4th place. Going to be able to take home that 125 cut of the $1,000 prize pool here at the anniversary month featuring Hearthstone tournament. So, like Wicked Good said, right after this break, we're going to go ahead and get this grand finals put together for you. Easy Bake versus Insane. Thank you so much for sticking around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Grand finals time.
Can't wait.